record. And in the meantime, if everybody can just mute their lines, that would be awesome. Just so that we don't have too much feedback. So I'm so excited to have Adam on the call tonight. For those of you that don't know Adam, I met him at conference in the fall with some other Aussies that were just blowing this business up. He's such an inspiring guy. Him and his wife have created this amazing life and business for themselves and for their two sweet little girls. And I've been kind of bombarding him since I met him saying, I need to get you on my call. So he was awesome enough to agree to do it. And it's like 11 a.m. his time on the Gold Coast in Australia. So thank you so much for taking time to join us tonight for us, tomorrow for you. So I'm just going to get right into it, Adam. I would love for you to share a little bit about your product story and your business story with us, because I know both are super interesting, super inspiring, and we've got a lot of guys on the call tonight too, which I'm pretty stoked about. So if you could share a little bit about both, that would be amazing.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Jen. It's great to connect with you guys. I see Jim's got like the Sydney Harbour Bridge on his profile picture, but I'm going to guess most of you guys are from Canada, and I'm going to guess he probably is too. But great, you guys. Look, yeah, certainly for me, Juice Plus actually came into our life. That's my wife right there. 7 years ago, actually, some of the product to us. We were health owners, and as most of you guys, we're a gym or health studio owner, approached by lots of people when it comes to products. It's kind of like you've got dollar signs on your forehead. My wife was actually a massive influence on my own belief around health, and it was kind of like what I think most personal trainers like, no disrespect. They don't know much about how to get people skinny and buffed and fit and strong. Most of them do, or some of them do. Was quite toxic and acidic and dangerous. So when Juice Plus came into my wife, I call gatekeeper of all things health, I'll just take Juice Plus home. Nothing wrong with like most products that came in the door, and like, honestly, was just coming out. Is it?
Hey Adam, can you hear me?
Yeah. Am I cutting out?
Yeah, it's cutting out massively. I'm just trying to figure out why. Do you want to log off and then log back on?
Yeah, I'm going to log off and I'll go onto the computer behind me because it normally gets a better reception. One sec.
Okay, sweet. Thanks.
See you in a sec.
Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah, so just bear with us here, guys. Who asked me for recording? Kat did. Yeah, Kat, Nikki's recording. So I'll just kind of get him to start over because I couldn't understand what he was saying. I don't know if you guys could. I didn't know if it was my end or what. Oh, hey, Christina.
As if you didn't know I'd be here.
Oh, yeah, you curled your hair too.
That was from this morning. What, this?
Calling y'all out. Hi, Lindsay White. Hi, Lindsay Matthews. Hi to everybody. I'm flipping through to see who's there. I'll get him to start over. Poor guy. Oh, there he is. Hi, Rose. All right, I see you, and you're more clear, Adam. Can you see me?
Is that better?
Oh, way better. But now I have to get you to restart your story.
Oh, really? Oh, well, you guys probably lucky. I'll cut it down now. So I think if you guys don't know, Kira and I own my own health studios here on the Gold Coast here in Australia. As most of you guys would understand, we got approached by lots of people around products. So when Juice Plus got brought to us, which was 6 or 7 years ago, I was like, another product, here we go. But I'll take it home to my wife and she'll find something wrong with it. She's certainly been a massive influence to me when it comes to health. And so I was kind of like most PTs. I didn't really know much about health. I knew how to get people skinny and buffed and strong and fit, but probably what I was doing was quite toxic. So when Kira came into my life and she really inspired me about holistic nutrition and real health, I was like, I'll just take the product home to her and she'll find something wrong with it. And to be honest, Juice Plus was what I say, the one thing that kind of got through the gatekeeper of health in our life, and that was my wife. And so we love Juice Plus. We had Juice Plus at home for a long time. Not that I actually took it properly. And I would recommend it to my clients. You know, I was coaching clients around nutrition, obviously as a PT, and I knew if clients were taking multivitamins or anything like that, that they could tell by the color of their urine it wasn't working. And I just would recommend Juice Plus. So that was it. I didn't want anything to do with the business. I actually thought to do a business like this, you had to run around and hunt people down and flog product to people. And being cool is pretty high on my agenda. So I was like, I'm not up for that. I like money, but if it means I'm not going to stay cool, I'm not in. And so it wasn't my thing. And we became actually good friends with Linda Everton, who actually shared the business with us. We kind of said, look, we don't want to do Juice Plus, but we really like you guys. And so can we hang out and all that? And about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, before I started, Linda started to share some amazing growth that had been going on in the Juice Plus business, and just sharing stories really is what got me interested. And I heard about that they were using social media and all these sort of things. And most of you guys, if you've been around for a little while, would know about the UK phenomena, the UK boom, and that sort of got my interest. And Linda just said to me one day, she said, why don't you come along to this event? I've got a young guy who's going to Skype into my lounge room, and him and his girlfriend are making a 6-figure a month income. And I was like, whoa, okay, I'll come. And I was like, honestly, I am not doing Juice Plus. So if you think I'm coming to do Juice Plus, I'm not. I'm coming to steal ideas. Okay, I just wanted, because my wife, she actually had been a MasterChef that year. So she'd come out of that. We had loads of intellectual property with their own gyms. And I was kind of thinking, like, I'd seen some people be really successful on social media and the internet with nutrition programs. And they weren't very impressive programs. And I thought, if they could be successful, I can too. We just got to work out how to use social media. So I went along to an event just to steal ideas. And I was like, honestly, the guy at the back of the room with my arms crossed, like, I'm not doing this thing. But honestly, I saw the event and I just couldn't, something resonated with me. It just felt good. I just saw that. And the one thing I really got in that moment is that this business is not about hunting people. It's not about flogging any product to people. And something that we say to our team all the time, and the thing that I love, is this is about helping people. It's about helping people with health. It's about helping people with lifestyle and wealth. And we often say that, you don't have permission to share this, what we have, the health component, the wealth component, until you've got permission. Really get permission to share this first. So what I mean by that is really taking an interest in somebody first and foremost. When someone says to me, I've got this one person I really want to share this with, the first question I'll always ask is why? Why do you want to share it with them? And they'll say to me, well, they'll be really good at this. And I'm like, to be honest, that's about you, not them. You got to find out why they're interested. And really, this is honestly, guys, like, this thing can change people's lives with health. There's no doubt. There's no doubt that I love how much impact we have on people's health. I think I was looking the other one of our Facebook groups now has over 20,000 people in it all over the world. And the impact that we're making to people's lives with health is amazing. And, we have a program, and I think most of us have programs that support people while they use the products. And I think people are often a lot more open to doing programs than they are feeling like someone's giving them a product. I think everyone's, as soon as you say the word product, they're like, here we go again, here's another product. So for us, certainly we lead with the program as much as the product, but really taking interest in them first and foremost. So that's kind of how it started out. I think I often talk about the 3 elements to success and about our business and how to create real success. But for me, honestly, I met a young guy that was actually, he was with Katie Ravy at the time. Unfortunately, they're not together anymore, but I was really inspired. And I just said, you know what, if a guy's making, him and his girl are making 6 figures a month, I was like, I know nothing. And I certainly could have been someone who went into this like, look, man, I've been doing business for 15 years. You're a young 27-year-old kid. Like, just give me the manual. I'm out of here and doing that. But I really just surrendered to them and followed the system. And I really feel like one of the most important elements to success in our business is just be teachable. Surrender to the system. The teams have got systems. And often, my experience is the people that think they already know everything before they come into here, or they're like, I already know what to do. And they're the ones I worry about. It's the people that don't know anything are the ones that I get excited about, because I really feel like we can teach them something and help them. And it's one of the biggest hurdles, or one of the biggest obstacles for learning is knowing. And people thinking that they know everything already. This business is different. It certainly is different. It's not about selling. It's about recommending and helping, and it's about getting permission first. And I share that all the time. So, when I first got started, I just surrendered, almost like it can't be that easy, dude. Seriously, this business can't be that easy. But you know what? In the first 10 weeks, I was fortunate enough to get to SSC, and I'd made just short of 10 grand in my first 10 weeks. And I was like, wow, okay, this thing might work. And so my wife was not interested at all in it. She thought I was a little crazy. She didn't know what this was. She was actually a little embarrassed that we were doing that I was deciding to do network marketing. But again, I was like, you know what? If not this, then what? I don't know what's going to free us of the crazy life of me working so many hours. And so I thought, you know what? I'm just going to give it a go and see what happens. So, 7 months on, I was able to get to I was personally able to get us to a point. I think at that time it was around Christmas. I started literally in about 5-6 days time, it will be 3 years. So, 7 months into it, it was around Christmas time. We're kind of doing what we always do, reflect on the year. What are we going to do next year? And I just said to Kira, I reckon we're about $4,000 to $5,000 a month away from potentially closing the doors of our traditional business. And for my wife, that was her why. She was like, really? You would really shut the business? And I'm like, yeah, why not? I want to come home. I'm sick of working long hours. I'm worn out by staff. Our traditional business guys, it was literally killing me. I was starting to have chest pains. I was becoming quite cynical. I was always the optimistic one. I was always the person who had wild dreams. And to be honest, my traditional business really changed me. I was becoming a grumpy old man at age 37, and that wasn't good. Life was hard. And I truly, and I say this all the time, traditional business never really delivered the ultimate lifestyle that I was looking for. I remember doing a vision day once with someone like 10 years ago. And I remember them saying, write down your perfect day. And before I even met Kira, my perfect day was always to be able to wake up. I always wanted to be a dad. And so to be able to wake up, roll over to my wife and say, you know what do you want to do today? Do you want to work today? Do you want to do anything? And I always dreamed of that, but I honestly didn't believe that my traditional business could give me that, because it was so stressful. So I suppose for me, I'm glad to say that 7 months in, my wife finally saw that this was maybe going to be the vehicle to be that. And then she got involved. She still didn't believe in the business, which was quite funny. She was a little embarrassed about the profession of the whole thing. So she said, I'll just get customers. That's what I'll do. And so, the rest has been history. I think 9 or 10 months from starting the business. So within the next 3 or 4 months, I was able to double my income from that around $6,000-7,000 a month. And it soon jumped to the 12 to 15 a month. And so within 9 to 10 months of doing the business, I was able to literally close the doors of our gym. I gave the business to one of my business partners. I gave one of the studios. I just said, man, you can have it. It's not worth it. I don't want any money. Just have it. And the other one, I literally just closed the doors and I sold the equipment on some buy and sell page. I was like, I want to get rid of it. And that was it. That was the end. So that was 2 years ago now, or 2 and a bit years ago now. I just can't imagine my life anymore being like that, to have to get up and work so many hours. And I truly believe that this profession, and it is a profession, truly can deliver on the ultimate lifestyle. And it's a part of belief. There's the belief in this industry and the belief in yourself is something that we all go through. But I'm absolutely convinced that this thing can really deliver on everything that we're chasing. To be able to work when you want, wherever you want, with whoever you want, to have an unlimited earning potential. And the bigger it gets, the less you work. The bigger you get, the less you work. You know, I'm proud to say these days I get to play golf a couple times a week. I get to skateboard my kids to school every day. I never miss out on any fun time. You know, a buddy of mine rang me, like, and I'm not trying to like impress you guys, but you know, to have the flexibility in our life right now. Like one of my best mates rang me last week and he said, "Hey, we're going to the snow in July. You want to come?" I know that sounds weird for you guys, but here in the Southern Hemisphere, you go to the snow in July. And he goes, "Do you want to come to New Zealand?" And I'm like, "When are you going?" He goes, "Yeah, the start of July." And I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's take the kids." I know for me, I've been to the snow once in my whole life. I went for one day. And Kira, my wife, has never been to the snow. And for us to not only give us those experiences, but our kids, to think that at the age of 5 and 9, they're doing this stuff. For you guys in Canada, you're like, "What? Never seen the snow? You guys crazy?" But it's like, honestly, that stuff is just amazing. And to be able to give those experiences, and certainly without this business, there's no way my traditional business would have given me the time and the freedom to do that, let alone the money. So it's always exciting. So
that is awesome. Thanks so much, Adam. That's amazing.
Right.
So you kind of touched a little bit on the 3 elements of success. And I know that you mentioned that to me backstage at conference too, right after I did the speech. So I would totally love for you to share with the rest of the team what your belief system is, sort of your vision, your whys, and the 3 key elements of success so far.
Yeah, I think I'd love to share that. I think one is the number one element of success, guys. The number one is desire, vision, and focus. And I truly believe, you know, it starts with you and first and foremost. You know, I know, you know, we often say, you know, I'm a part of it. We're all a part of of a team. There's no doubt. But you're going to build your own team over time, and you got to see that vision right now. And if you don't have laser focused, if you don't have vision and desire for what you want, then other stuff is going to come up. You know, sometimes people say to me, I just want to get motivated, Adam. I'm like, stop trying to get motivated. Being motivated, guys, having a motivational experience is what I call peeing in a wetsuit. And it's like, it's kind of warm and fuzzy for a while, right? Feels all warm, but I'm telling you, sooner or later, it washes away, right? So the thing is you want to be inspired. It's about being it's from within, and it's the thing that drives you. And no matter what comes up in life, you still find time to do this. And I mean this, and I think really the only reason why people stop in this business or they never get started, there's only reasons. I truly believe the only reason why people stop or never get started is that they don't know what's possible. They truly don't know what's possible, whether they don't know what's possible short term, and they don't know what's possible in the next 12 months to 2 years, right? Or the only other reason, if they know what's possible, then the only other reason why they stop is that they don't feel like they can achieve it. That's the only reason, because let's face it, guys, if I said to you that if you spend 10 to 15 hours a week on the high producing activities in your business, that in the next 12 to 18 months, that potentially you'll have an extra $3,000 to $4,000 landing in your bank account every month. I don't know many people that wouldn't show up for that. That if they knew that, and then the thing is that after the first 12 to 18 months, the next 12 months that potentially could double, triple, or quadruple. I don't know anyone that wouldn't show up for that. So the reason why most people give up, and this is what I really wanted to say to you guys, work out why you're here. Not like this. I think a lot of people have this blue sky idea, one day, but honestly, one day will never come unless you really get focused on what you're out to achieve in the next 90 days. It's about work out what you want long term. A lot of people will say to me, I just want freedom, Adam. I want financial freedom. Honestly, guys, that makes you feel good, but it doesn't inspire you. It doesn't get you like hungry for it, because it's just this wishy-washy word that we all freely use, financial freedom. But what does financial freedom really mean for you? You know, what is that figure right now that would start to make a difference in your life? And I would encourage you that you get that question answered for yourself. You know, what's going to inspire you that you take on a do whatever it takes attitude over the next 90 days? You know, and so some people say to me, I want to quit my full-time job. Well, I want to ask you, what does this need to look like financially for you to be able to quit your job? Do you know that figure? And a lot of people say, I don't know the figure. And then I'm like, are you wondering why you're not making this a priority? Where you don't really know why you're here? You kind of like, you've got this idea, it feels good, but you're not like, that's what I'm going out to achieve. And the thing is, guys, if you don't have vision, then the chance of other people buying into your vision is impossible. People want to join your business because of you. Whether you like it or not, people join your business because of you and what you bring. So I really want to encourage you guys that you get laser focused. And if I walked up to you or anyone walked up to you and said, what do you want this to be in the next 12 months? You could go, bang, that's what it is. You guys can see my vision board behind me. I'm not sure if you guys noticed when I was on my other computer, my wife's vision board's here also. We're really clear on what we're out to achieve. And I can tell you guys, we're clear on how important this is too. You know, we're at a point right now where our income right now is something that we'd only dream of. If someone had told me that we could have created the income that we have over the last 3 years, I probably would have said there's no way. But right now we could get really comfortable in where we're at in our life. But for us, our thing is, at the start of this year, we asked ourselves, okay, we're pretty good financially right now. So what else do we want in our life? And so right now, Kira and I are like, we want to be in a position where we can literally buy both our mums a house and retire them for the rest of their lives. They've been single mums forever. My mum has been a single mum since I was 12 years old. She's had a couple of guys in her life, but no one has really looked after her. And for me personally, now that she is at the age of 60, I just want to be able to buy my mum a house. Not that she's that comfortable with it, but buy her a house and say, Mum, enjoy the rest of your life. How much money do you need to live a decent life? I want to be able to just put that money in her account, make sure she's close enough that we can drop off the grandkids now and then, and just live a life. So the thing is, guys, what's your purpose? What's your vision? Often first of all, it's you. Look after yourself first. What do you want this to be? And the thing is, guys, then it becomes a non-negotiable. You turn up because you want to change. For me, when I started, I knew that I needed this to be a $12,000 to $15,000 a month income. I knew that. The thing that I didn't know, and I had to learn the hard way, I actually didn't know what my business needed to look like to be earning that money. So I thought that it actually had to be less in club volume than what it actually had to be. So I got to a certain thing. I got to like 24 club. I thought I was going to be earning a lot more. And I was like, wow. And I gave Linda a hard time. I thought I'd be earning more by now and blah, blah, blah. And I spat it and had a little dummy spit and a little tanny. But you know what? In that moment, I got to learn about, you know what? I'm not laser focused. And so I didn't know. So I had to take responsibility for myself and worked out. And that's why I think it's so important, guys, to do that. You know, we talk about, and I could talk about design and vision all day, but it's so important, guys. The second element of success is, I said it before, just be teachable, surrender, stop trying to think you know everything. And I mean by so teachable that if you're not doing three-way calls with your upline, putting your prospects in the first 3 to 4 months in front, just putting your prospects in front of your upline, then honestly, you're trying to be the expert, and then not everyone can duplicate that. The success of your business, guys, is not determined by what you can do. The success of your business is not determined by you. It's determined by what you can inspire others to duplicate. And I think it's such an important part. I think we all think we need to be the expert in the beginning. I can tell you guys is that I think one of the biggest reasons why our business has grown like it is none of us claim to be the expert. None of us are claiming to be health experts. I like to play dumb a lot, and that's pretty easy for me to do. But to be honest, like I could answer lots of questions that people have, but I'm just like, I don't know if I know the answer to that. could I get you some info? Could I do that? But so many of us are like, we need to know everything. You don't. This is what I know. It's fruits, vegetables, and berries. I'm yet to come across someone who doesn't know what fruits and vegetables and berries are, no matter what country I'm in. And nor do they not agree with me that they could do with some more and that they'd be good for them. It's pretty simple. So for me, that's how we keep it simple. I share my own story and I take an interest in them. So I think know your vision and desire, understand what you want. And then the thing is, if you know that's important, guess what? Find other people's whys. The reason why people don't show up is that they've lost their vision or they've lost belief that they can achieve it. That's the only reason. There's lots of people that probably could be on this call tonight, but you know what? The reason they're not is either they've got an excuse, and that excuse is bigger than what their vision and desire is, or maybe they don't have one, or they've lost belief that they can achieve it. And your job is not to convince them that they can do this. I want to let you know that. That's not your job. Your job is to get them focused remind them why you're here. What was it about this that you were really looking for? That's a quality question to ask. When you first started your Juice Plus journey, what was it that you were looking for? What did you want to achieve? Maybe, just maybe, they never really got clear vision of that. And so then when the first, neg ferret came into their life and kind of tried to steal their dream, they got affected by it. There was no real vision. And the pain of dealing with neg ferrets was greater than the pleasure of what they wanted this to be. You guys get that every human behavior is driven by avoid pain or gain pleasure. Avoid pain, gain pleasure. So if the pain of neg ferrets, people's opinions, because let's face it, some people are going to have an opinion, and they're entitled to it, but who cares, is greater than the pleasure of what they want this to be, then they'll often avoid the pain. For me, guys, the pain of our business, the pain of staff, financial stress was in a position where I'm like, I'll do whatever. I don't care what anyone says, because I wasn't going to let them wreck my dreams. So I think get them focused on that. Be teachable, follow the system. I know you guys have got great leaders and you're following the system, but you're going to be a great leader too. I think it's often that we want to put some of our leaders up on a pedestal. I want to let you guys know that we're all exactly the same as you. And then the third element of success is just be consistent. Is the consistent activity on a day-to-day basis. The thing is, guys, you guys are all entrepreneurs. You decided to own your own franchise. Entrepreneurs know that that the work that you do early, there's no such thing as an overnight success. The thing is, it's the consistent effort on a day-to-day. The people say to me, it's amazing what you've been able to achieve and it's awesome and, whatever. And I'm like, they're like, I really want to create the success that you have. And I'm like, do you really? Do you know this morning I was up at 5 a.m. on a call to the UK for a 5:30 call, and I was on that call for 2 hours. We did an event and we did training, and I do that event every week. And do you know, last night I was on a call till 11 o'clock, so I went to bed at probably midnight, and then I was back up at 5 and I was doing another call in another time zone. Are you prepared to do that stuff? Because if you really want what it takes, you've got to do the work. If someone told you that this was like some sort of get-rich-quick scheme, I want to apologize for them. This is a get-rich-and-free long-term scheme. And if you go to work, this thing can pay you forever. Forever. Honestly, guys, and Jeff Roberti will say it, the number one earner in our company will say that. He worked hard for 5 to 8 years. 5 to 8 years, he put his head down, he worked his butt off. But for the last 22, and he said no to things for a long time. I said no to watching football for 2 years. That's a big deal. I love my football team. But you know what? So I can watch football whenever, wherever for the rest of my life. I can go to every game if I really wanted to in the future. So the thing is, guys, so many of us are so caught up in the short-term pain for the long-term pleasure. And I really encourage you, if you get focused on what you really want, then nothing else matters. Be careful where you go to that, Danielle. Adelaide Gross. I'm a Collingwood supporter. It's probably good that I don't watch my team right now. Probably need to work harder.
That is awesome. I'm giggling over here because I'm picturing my husband giving up football. Well, it's soccer, right? I don't know. But yeah, he can. I don't think he could give that up for 2 years. But kudos. That's awesome. Hey, a couple of questions. I would love for you to talk a little bit about how you share on social media, because I've noticed that you're just not the Juice Plus guy on social media, which is amazing. I don't think I've ever seen you talk really about Juice Plus ever on social media. If it is, it's like very teeny and tiny. So maybe you could talk a little bit more about that. And then also, where do you find new prospects when you're hunting out people, both customers and business? Because I know that you guys are really focusing on building wide and getting into other countries around you. I know that you guys are in New Zealand and things like that. So maybe a little bit more information on that. That would be amazing.
Yeah, awesome. I think, look, social media for me, if I'm honest with you, isn't where I've really predominantly built my business. And I certainly am not on Facebook to communicate with my friends. I'm on there because I certainly see it as a great business tool. So for me, social media is not for selling either. I don't think people are on social media to be sold to and spammed constantly. It's about sharing experiences. It's about sharing lifestyle. It's about inspiring people. And so I think it's about, more than anything, it's about create curiosity. And that's what it's about. The thing is, if you kind of just plaster Juice Plus all over your wall, there's not much curiosity in that, if you ask me. It's kind of like people say, oh, they're doing that Juice Plus thing, and maybe they've had an experience or something like that, maybe not with Juice Plus, with another company like that. And they're like, oh, that's one of those things. They're doing one of those things. And they're kind of out before they even get started. So for me, and I know, people say, I don't even know what you're doing, but it looks, some people think I'm running some sort of cult. I have certainly bumped into a few people, that I went to school with, and I bump into them out and about, and they're like, what are you doing these days? It looks like you're having heaps of fun, but it also looks like you're running a cult. People are tagging you in stuff and saying you're awesome. And I'm like, no, it's not that. And so for me, I'm sharing my lifestyle. I'm sharing what I'm excited about. I'm doing that. I'm inspiring people that you can create an awesome life. So that's what this is. That's what I think social media is for, is about curiosity. You share results, but if anything, we kind of share results around the program, and if people are interested, they'll inbox it, they're following you, all that. But the number one activity in our business, and I don't care how you're doing it, whether you're doing it through social media, whether you're doing it through your phone, I don't know, anything else, Instagram, any of those things, whether you're doing it through text message, whether you're doing it just out and about, my business has been built by conversations. It's certainly about talking to people. And what I mean by that, and I honestly, we always say the number one high paying activity in our business is talking to people. If you think that you're just going to put a whole bunch of stuff on Facebook and share your lifestyle, and people are going to be inboxing you constantly about, wow, it's amazing what you're doing and I want to join your team, I want to let you guys know it doesn't matter where you are in the business, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. My life looks pretty good these days. We're traveling a lot. I'm sharing my life. I'm skateboarding my kids to school. And it's very rare someone inboxes me and says, Adam, I want to join your business. No one does that. So the thing is, what the whole thing about social media is about creating interest, and you're inspiring people that there might be a better way out there. But the deal maker is the starting conversation. So I'm always looking for excuses to engage and start conversations, whether that be through Messenger, whether that be just out and about. Most of the people that I've bought into the business are people that I've just met out and about. Give you guys an example of that, right? And I told you guys that one of my biggest fears about this business is being one of those crazy network marketing people. I was never going to be one of those people. And what was probably why it was a thorn in me is that I actually had done network marketing when I was 20, and I did it the way everyone said, and the way I'd say not to. And that's write a list of all your friends and go and hunt them all down. Like, hunt them. Now, I'm not saying I don't share this with my friends, but I share when I can hear that they're looking for something. And the only way I'll hear that is that I ask questions that might get the answers that I'm looking for. So for me, I'll give you guys an example. I'm at a bar. It's Friday afternoon. We got a bar at the end of our street. I actually went there to meet one of the guys, Laurie and Cameron, who got to NMD. And so we're having a beer at Friday on 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And the guy who's poured me the beer said to me, "How's your day?" And I said, "Yeah, I've had a really good day. Thanks for asking." And he said, "Did you work?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, not too much." And he said to me, are you making any money not working?" And I'm like, "Actually, yeah, I'm doing really well, to be honest. Thanks for asking. Why do you ask?" And he goes, "You're making money and you're not working much. How do you do that?" And I said, I got an online business. And so in that moment, I think this is what happens to many of us. In that moment when someone wants to take curiosity, we feel like we need to tell them everything right there and then. Like, it's amazing, it's this, it's Juice Plus, blah, blah, blah. But what I want to unless you're really good at getting them signed up as a franchisee there and then all you risk by doing while you vomit, what I call projectile vomit, Juice Plus all over them, is that the only thing you're going to do is lose them. Because they're going to say, it's one of those things. Or, when I think about when I got started in this business, what got me curious again, although I knew about Juice Plus from Linda, what got me curious to come and have a look at it again was the stories. It wasn't the features, it was the benefits. The benefits is I love it because, so when he asked me what's this online business that you do? And I said, well, about 3 years ago, I met a young guy who was making a 6-figure a month income. And I got really curious, to be honest. I had been working 60, 70 hours a week. I was missing out on my kids. I hardly saw my wife. And I was just sick of that, to be honest. So I was certainly open to something. And he said to me, if I was willing to be teachable, he'd teach me how to do it. And to be honest, the rest has been history. It's been amazing. There's nothing about that, guys, where he's like, well, that sounds like BS, or that's nothing I'd want to do. There's nothing about what I shared that he was like, wow, that sounds pretty cool, but what's it all about? And then in that moment, I just said, are you on Facebook? And he said, yeah, I'm on Facebook. I'm like, can I send you a friend request? And maybe I'll send you something if you want. So in that moment, I've done the job that I need to do. And honestly, whether you're out and about, whether you're using social media, the number one and the only thing you're using that is to create curiosity and then engagement. It's about creating conversation. I created the conversation, but in that moment, I'm not going to get him signed up as a franchise while he's serving me a beer over the bar. So why am I trying to convince him to come be a part of it? Right? Plant the seed, get the contact. And the one thing I know, guys, and he was an example. Jack was actually an example. And Jack was with us, Jen, in the US at St. Louis. And he didn't actually do anything for 3 months. I tried to connect with him. He didn't do anything. But the thing is, guys, guess what? He now is watching my highlight reel for the next 3 months, watching my life play out. He's seeing what I'm up to, all the rest. I invited him to come to an event. He never came to it. I sent him a recording to one of the events. He never really watched it. And then it was funny. Katie was here on the Gold Coast, Katie Ravey, and she was here with Luke Wren. And I messaged a whole bunch of people that were kind of people that nothing had really eventuated. And I just messaged him and said, hey, dude, not sure what you're up to this week, but we got a girl in town that's earning a 6-figure a month income. And I thought you might be interested to come and check out what she's got to share. Let me know and I'll send you the details. All right, I didn't really spew on him. I just shared another story. And then he messaged me back like within 2 hours. And this was 3 or 4 months after. So we talk about the fortunes in the follow-up, guys. You know, I didn't say, you got to come do it. It's amazing, blah, blah, blah. I didn't try to convince him. I just shared a story. I said, if you're interested, let me know. I'll send you the details. I didn't even send him the details. You guys get that? Like, I want to find out who's actually interested in coming. If I just send the details out to everyone, then I don't even know who's actually interested or not, right? So I want to wait till they say, hey, they're like, oh, they're like kind of like looking over the fence again. Maybe I am interested. Maybe tell me about the details. So he came to the event. He actually came. It was kind of funny because we had a huge event. It was like 300-400 people at the event. And I didn't even know who he was because I kind of forgot who he was, what he looked like. And he came up to me straight after the event. He saw it. I let the event do the work. And we often say that. Just let the event do the work. Stop trying to explain what the business is. Just get them to the event. If you're creating curiosity and they're not getting to the event and it's not for them before they get to the event, guess what? You're saying too much. You're saying too much. You're trying to convince them, and the event does the work, guys. And so he came to the event and he ran up to me, nearly tackled me after the event. And he's like, man, I didn't know it was this. And I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. I love it. Did you enjoy yourself? He's like, yeah, how do I get started? And we don't do 300 events all the time. I want to let you know, we don't do 300 people events all the time. So if you guys think that we're doing that, we're not. But I can let you guys know that over the last 3 years, we have built an event on a Thursday night that actually started in Linda's lounge room, the one that I went to with my arms crossed. I'm not doing this, right? There were 6 people in that room. About 18 months ago, it became a problem in her neighborhood because we were doing it at her house. It became a problem that the council were writing letters to her because too many cars were turning up in her street every Thursday night. I think it got to, we kind of got it to it took 18 months to get to a consistent 50 people every Thursday night to the event. But we did the same event every Thursday night for 18 months. So it didn't happen overnight. And I think a lot of us don't see, we don't put our entrepreneurial hat on and say this thing doesn't happen overnight. We just got to keep showing up. And if we keep showing up, then the right people will show up at the right time. But the problem is, guys, you're asking people to be consistent. You're asking people to turn up and be consistent, and you're not. Guys will often hear, sometimes you need the event, sometimes the event needs you. Get to the events, keep turning up. And if you don't turn up to the event because you don't have a prospect coming, then you're making the business about you. And once you start making the business about you guys, then this thing doesn't work. It's about helping people. So you got to turn up and be consistent, and then other will too. So, yeah. And now that event, I wanted to quickly, that event now, every Thursday night, we had to move it to a venue, and now we have 80 to 100 people turn up every Thursday night, which is awesome, whether we're in town or not.
What are you guys doing for that event, Adam? What kind of event was it?
We would do probably 10, 15 minutes of product, and then probably 20 minutes, half an hour on business and business stories. So it certainly is more of a business-driven event. I honestly don't think you need to get people to an event to get them on the products. I think if you take an interest in people and you can get them on the products. And I think one thing is, if you have to get everyone to an event to get them on the products, that seems like a pretty hard business, if you ask me. I think if you just take an interest in people, help them do that. But certainly the business would get people to the event.
So would you say that it's just such a good segue, because my last question is about events, and then I'll probably open it up to everybody else because I know lots of people have questions. But so major events that are working for you guys, I've seen that you guys have done some chats on the beach, and I know that you and Kira always have flyers going kind of own your own life, design your own life. What would you say is working best for you guys and for your team? Because I know me being at conference, I was sitting in the front row thinking, oh my God, they have another NMD up there. You guys had, I don't know, between you and Kira, 6, 8, however many there were. Things are working for you guys, and they're working fast, which is so amazing and inspiring to us. And so, just what kind of events are really running the business so that you're bringing people on? People are so inspired. Like you say, they join up, they go to these events and they see the vision, and then they join up and they move through the marketing plan so quickly.
Yeah, I think, Zoom is so amazing, isn't it? It's such an incredible tool. So I built my business to NMD without Zoom. We didn't even know what Zoom was. So certainly you can build your business without it. But I think once we introduced Zoom, the thing that I got about Zoom, it is so easy to invite loads of people to, and we can do that from anywhere, and you can literally do it in your pajamas. So no one has to, it's cold in Canada compared to here. So getting people out of the house and doing that is hard compared to just get them on Zoom. It's so easy. So we would do within our team, I don't know, maybe there would have to be 20 or 30 Zoom events going on every week within our team. And they're the same event every time. They're a business event, and we're always having new people launch their business within the Zoom events that are already running. And so, and just an easy way to invite a bunch of people to do that. So I think certainly that it's been probably the biggest things that helped us do that. It's, to be honest, it's the same event every time. It's kind of like, we don't, and I don't know if you guys do this, but we don't do product events. Because again, I personally don't think you need to do product events to get people on the product, and you don't invite people to product events to get them on the business. Because I know for me, I used to go to some of the product events of Linda's before I was interested in the business, and I'm like, I don't even want to do this. So what? I wouldn't do the business. So I think the number one question most people are asking themselves is, do I see myself doing this? And if it's complicated and you got to be the expert. And I know enough about nutrition. I used to do nutrition seminars, but the thing is, most people don't want to get up there and be the expert and be up for scrutiny. If you say that, like, there's only a certain amount of people who can do that. And if it's not duplicatable, and I think the UK was so good at that, is that if anyone can't do what you're doing right now, then it's not possible. And I give you an example. I know of an NMD that came out of Canada like last year or the year before, that did NMD in like 4 months. And some of you guys might know who that guy is. But the one thing that I know is that when I was curious who this guy was, and I went up to him in the pool at Phoenix, and I kind of like wanted to pick his brain a little. But the number one question I'm asking myself is what they're doing duplicatable. I think no matter what you're doing, guys, it needs to be duplicatable. And I asked him a few questions, and I was like, that's not duplicated. I thought to myself, I didn't say that to him, by the way, but I said to myself, that's not duplicatable. What he's doing is not duplicatable. And you know what? I don't know if he's here anymore. So, so the thing is, guys, I think the question you got to ask yourself right now is, what you're doing right now, is it duplicatable? And if it's not duplicatable, why are you doing it? Because your business, the success of your business isn't based on what you can do. And something that Kira and I are aware of, it's not the Adam and Kira show. This is, what can I teach people to do this, teach people to do this, teach people to do this, and away you go.
I love that. That's awesome. Sorry that I was unmuted there. Yeah, you know what? I think that that's a big thing that we teach everybody that joins our team, is that you've got to be teachable. You've got to be duplicatable, because if you look like you're this picture perfect, polished people that have your life together, and that, you know, you're not a hot mess, then people can't relate to that, right?
Yeah, that's a good point, Jen. I've seen people come in, like I know people here, even here in Australia. It's the vulnerability that you show about your real story. You know, Kira and I were always honest about life isn't awesome for us right now.
Yeah.
I'm working long hours. I'm missing out on my kids. We're just getting by financially. The thing is, guys, people resonate with that stuff. If you kind of run around like my life's awesome and I'm all good and I'm just doing Juice Plus because, you know, just because, no one resonates with that. And the leaders that I see doing that, they wonder why their business isn't thriving, is because they're putting on a facade. Like, get real with what's really going on with your life and share that with people, because people connect and they're inspired and they resonate. And that's what more people want to join your tribe.
Yeah, 100%. That is awesome. Okay, well, I know that you're a busy man and you were in the middle of your day almost. So I would love to open this up for questions, guys. If you want to unmute your line, ask away. You've got Adam. It will take me probably another 6 months to get him back on another call. So take advantage of this and ask him some questions that you guys have. And don't be shy. I'm just reading down the side here. Oh, nobody wants to unmute themselves. Come on.
They're scared that I'll start talking more. They're like, this guy can talk, man. If I ask him a question, we might not get to bed tonight.
They're scared that you're going to answer with a 10-minute answer.
One of the questions I find that I have with, getting customers interested and actually getting them to commit to buying the product.
Yep. So that's your biggest challenge, Shannon?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my thing would be this about that, because I think if it's about money, or commitment, just committing, I would first say, do you really know what their goals are? Do you really know why they're interested in what you've got? And because without purpose, no matter what, purpose around the business, without purpose around why they would take the product, then it becomes about the price and it becomes about the cost and it's not about the value. So my thing is, right, think about that last person that you spoke to. Did you really know what their goals were? Or they just said, I just want to feel better. Again, it's kind of like financial freedom. Sounds good, but what does feel better really mean to them? So can you tell me, what does feel better? The thing is, guys, people buy on emotion. Can I explain to you why my wife needs another Louis Vuitton bag? There is no logic behind that. It's an emotional decision. It's the same handbag that's in, I don't know, one of the other shops, but it's got a different I know girls, they're different, but honestly, it's an emotional decision. People buy an emotion. So the thing is, you got to spend the time and find out what drives them. What are they really looking for? When someone says weight loss, I'm like, how much weight would you really love to lose? And why is that important to you? And when was the last time you were that weight? And how did you feel back then? It's about investing your time and doing that. So I think, Shannon, I'm not sure if you're doing that or not, but I think if you really take the time to do that, I think people are going to be more and more open to say, you know what? I want to change that. I want to get better. I want to feel amazing. And then it's about just what am I going to do this? Because this could be the solution, and share your own story. Does that help?
That helps a lot. Thank you.
Okay, Adam, I have one more question for you.
Yep.
So we are in the midst of opening up lots of new areas in Ontario. And I know that you guys are getting on planes and going to New Zealand and other surrounding areas. So how are you getting into those areas? How are you opening them up? And what are you guys, like, not a sacrifice, but just what kind of work are you putting into to open up these new areas? For instance, like getting on a plane and going there and creating some events in these new areas.
Look, I think for me, from what I've learned, because there was never an NMD ever in Melbourne. Juice Plus had never produced an NMD. In the last 2 years, this team's been able to produce 2, which has been kind of cool. So for me, look, you've got to be certain that you're going to spend some time down there and you're going to feel like, why am I doing this? I know for me, when I go, I want to find at least 1 or 2 leaders in the area first and foremost, okay? So I want to find 1 or 2 leaders because one event ain't going to do it. Like the one event when you bring a leader and it kind of is a bit of a draw card and you get people there, but are they going to continue the event on each week, just like we did here on the Gold Coast? So, and if they're not, then I'd be very wary to be going there and doing that. I really want to make sure there are leaders in the area that are going to continue on the momentum, because this business is about momentum. It's not about a rah-rah for a week and then it all disappears again, because you're just constantly going there. And don't get me wrong, sometimes you don't know who's going to really step up. But for me, I really want to find who the 1 or 2 leaders are in that area. You know what's exciting is that you say to them, I'm looking for a leader in this area to grow this and help them create an awesome income. And if you're that person, I'm excited about that. If you want to be that person, but I'm not here to convince you, I'm here to help you. And if you're all in, I'm all in too. So how do you feel about that? And find their why. I think that's what's important first and foremost. I think with Zoom and stuff like that, certainly you can continue some momentum a lot easier because everyone can be plugging into that. And you can continue doing some Zoom. So we've got team in Melbourne. We've got team in Perth now. And same thing, kind of the start of this year, I kind of promised all our teams in the areas that had leaders with their hands up. And that's a prereq. That's kind of, if you've got your hand up, if you're doing the work, then I'm going to come to those areas. And certainly, I've been to Sydney, Melbourne, New Zealand a couple of times. I'm going to Perth, it looks like next in a couple of weeks' time. I've been up north, I've been to the sunny coast. Is that I'm really clear that this week, the last 3 or 4 days that I've spent here is not going to change your business. It's getting it started. It's what you guys do with this in the next 2 and 3 months, that you guys keep turning up and keep supporting and keep inviting people. Because the thing is, guys, when your prospects come to that event, if there's no event next week, what do they do? And then when they bring people, what do they do? How do they plug people into this? So the consistent event. And the one thing that Katie's partner at the time said to me, I said, what do we need to do, man? And he said, you need to keep this event up. And there were times where we could have stopped. There was certainly times where we could have stopped. There was times where no one was showing up. And I said to Laurie and Cameron and Lauren Berry, they were my wing buddies. I said, we are not stopping this event no matter what. I don't care where we do it. We did lots of events in a coffee shop just looking at each other. And you know what? Is that we were kind of committed. We're going to keep showing up. Laurie and Cameron said to me one day, he said, he's an NMD 50 club, soon to be 75, right? And he said to me early on, he said, do I need to keep coming every week? And I said, you don't have to keep coming every week. But what I know, dude, if you want to be successful, I'd keep coming every week. And he's like, okay, I get it. And you know what? Now he gets to sit in the room with those events and, you know, a third of the room's his team.
That is unbelievable. Thanks so much, Adam. Yeah, I think I met him. I think he went on just after me to do the speech, right?
Yeah, he was really hungover.
Yeah. I remember you told me he got home at like 4 a.m. and I looked at him. I was like, oh no, that's just not.
So not him either. He never gets drunk like that. I couldn't believe it.
It's because he was in California. He was like, I'm gonna go crazy. Well,
I have one question, Jen, if that's okay. Sure. Hi, Adam. How are you?
Good.
Thanks for all this. It's been really, really good. I just have a question. How many people do you know that are between 60 and 65 that are doing this business successfully? Like, who are they going after?
Look, I'd be lying if I tried to answer the question of how many people, but my thing would be is what is the reason why you're doing this business and what drives you to do that? And I think when you answer that question, really answer the question, what you really want this to be and why you're doing it, then the question is, who else do you know that wants the same things? And don't get focused on who am I going to get, but who's looking for the same vehicle that I'm after. Get good at sharing your story and then share that from your heart. And if you think that you're the only person in your position in your life right now that wants what you want, you know the answer to that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know the answer to that. So the thing is, guys, start more conversations. You know what I've learned, the people that you think are going to join your team often don't. And the people that you think would never join your team often do. It's not your job to judge who's it for and who it's for and who it's not for. It's your job to get yourself out of the way, take an interest in people, and then share an opportunity when you feel that you have merit to do that. Until you do, keep asking great questions, keep sharing great stories. And you know what? We've got people that I shared the business with 3 years ago, 2 years ago. You know, one of my buddies, he is like, honestly, he's a massive influencer. He literally shares the stage with Tony Robbins. He's watched me do this business for 3 years. And at the start of this year, he's like, man, Tony's talking about network marketing. Robert Kiyosaki's talking about it. Warren Buffett's involved. He goes, people that I personally know and admire and respect are all talking about it. And my best mate is just blowing this thing up. He goes, I'd be stupid not to do this. And so at the start of the year, he's like all in. He came to the US conference just recently. He kind of played it cool. I couldn't really read him, how he was absorbing it all. He'd been in the business for 1 month and he bought 10 of his team members. That's the kind of influencer he is. And, you know, and then his wife came around for dinner last week. And then she was like, Scott is so in this, it's not funny. He loved conference. He rang me about a day or two later after he kind of digested and journaled it all. And he's like, we've found our vehicle. We've found our thing that can give us everything we want in our life. We're in the right place and we're really excited. So the thing is, guys, if you just keep showing up, keep being consistent, and you're all in, you know, if some people say to you, oh, I'll see how you go, it's because you're still on trial. You're still trying to see if you'll be successful. Stop trying to be successful and just decide that you're going to be successful and watch people follow you. Keep lifting the weights and showing up.
Awesome.
you.
Thank you so much, Adam. Honestly,
Thanks, Jen.
that was such a great call tonight. Thanks for taking an hour out of your day. I know everybody's so appreciative of that. And yeah, just thanks for showing up. Words of wisdom, amazing.
My
And
pleasure.
I can't wait to see what comes out of Australia at the next conference. And we are maybe going to beat you guys.
Come to Australia, June 16, 17. It's going to be awesome. There'll be so much celebration. So if you guys want a good excuse, it is here on the sunny Gold Coast. I'm not sure if you guys can see outside, but it's always beautiful weather. It'll be in the middle of winter, but it'll be like 20 degrees, which I don't know what that is in. Do you guys do Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Yeah, that's warmer than we are right now.
I know. So come do that. And I warned you, once you get me started, I knew I wouldn't stop.
I know, we were talking before. I'm like, so are we going to do like an interview style? Should I ask you questions? He's like, well, you might ask me one question and it might go for an hour. So I'm just letting you go with it. It's good. It's good. Thanks so much. And thanks everybody for tuning in tonight, guys. Have a great evening. Okay, bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.